Flee, loyalist dogs. Ah, yes. Beware the wrath of chaos. What's up? He's dead. Brilliant observation. How did you do that? I shot him. Yeah, but I thought guardsmen were supposed to be poorly equipped and poorly trained. Well, that's some of us, but we're different. Different how? We're able to kill Space Marines pretty solidly? What the fuck? I thought the Imperium didn't have any of you guys anymore. Well, there's a couple million of us still kicking about. Bruh. Well, it doesn't matter. You puny loyalists will not stop me. Yeah, we can't really do that. But this multi-grenade can. Oh, for fuck's. Salutations Rangers, General Belly 101, back again with some more lore. And today's video, boys and gals, we are taking a look at what is, in my opinion, one of the most, if not the most underrated elements of the Imperial Guard. That being the Tempestus Scions, or the Stormtroopers. The Guard often gets memed on for being, well, the Guard. Yeah, you know, the old classic, we got more bodies than they got bullets. So when you think of elite, you don't really think of the Guard. Whilst the Guard has fallen from grace way back when it was the Imperial Army, the Tempestus Scions still carries some of that old military tradition. And whilst a lot of it has been forgotten, not all of it. So join me here today as we take a look at the Tempestus Scions, the true elite of the Imperial Guard. Also, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We just hit 30k. I fucking love y'all. Next big thing is the funny number. I will become the Warhammer 40k Jimmy Space. Fuck yeah, let's go. So, how does one become a Tempestus Scion or a Stormtrooper? Well, it's quite simple. You see, the majority of Stormtroopers are raised from either one of two attributes. One, they are picked from already seasoned and veteran Guard units that have proven themselves more and above capable through active military service to be incorporated into the Stormtrooper Corps. Or two, and more often, they come from what is known as the Schola Progenium. Now, what is the Schola Progenium? Imagine the high school from hell. That's basically what it is. As you can imagine, there are a lot of orphans in Warhammer 40k. As well, there's a lot of damn death. A lot of them come from noble families due to noble uprising or revolts, or from Imperial Guard regiments, because the Guard does a lot of things, that one of those things is dying. Lots of dying. Poor bastards. So, if a child is orphaned from one way or another due to war or whatever reason, they are then yeeted over to the Schola Progenium, where they become all the specialist elements of the Imperium of Man. You think about your Ecclesiarchy preachers, you think about your Administratum adepts, think about your Sisters of Battle, Commissars, Tempestus Scions, Inquisitors, anything really. Hell, even in a few cases, some Space Marines even yoink one or two of them to become their own initiates. Of course, this really happens because the Progenium gets really fucking mad about this. Also, there are rules with recruitment and fiefdoms, but some Space Marines don't give a fuck. So basically, they all go through the same old training throughout the Schola. Now that includes severe mental indoctrination as well as spiritual indoctrination. They are taught to protect themselves against the depredations of the warp as well as the depredations of the heretic and the alien and mutant. They're also given incredible physical and mental training. These are some of the smartest bastards you'll find in the Imperium and some of the toughest. Once that training has been completed, they will then be assigned to their new set of training. Again, if you're a chick and you show very good aptitude for faith as well as big titties, as well as able to resist the temptations of warp, you are then yeeted over to the Adeptus Sororitas. If you find yourself really good with numbers, you're going over to the Adeptus Ministorum. And if you find yourself knowing how to preach really well and having a panache for burning motherfuckers at a stake, the Ecclesiarchy will take you. And there's a good chance that you may indeed find an Inquisitor who likes the cut of your jib and decides to teach you the wonderful ways of Exterminatus. But for the military-inclined males of the Schola Progenium, there leads one of two offices. One, the path of the Officio Perfectus, i.e. the Commissar office, and the other being the Militarum Tempestus, or the Stormtrooper Corps. Now what separates a Stormtrooper from a Commissar? Quite simply, it's the ability to lead/inspire, and generally speaking being charismatic as well as a figure of leadership, versus being a really good and dutiful soldier. Now, whilst all Commissars can fight the good fight, at the end of the day, if a Commissar is really charismatic, that is what holds the most weight. So essentially, how good at you are inspiring your lads, how good at you are giving orders, how good at you are making yourself be a leader. Not only a leader from a military perspective, but moreover a leader from a social perspective. Now, granted, what that is depends from person to person. You could be like Cain, and get like a pretty charismatic guy, or you could get Ibram Gond or Sebastian Yarrick, but then you could also get the piece of shit commissars who think that charisma and tyranny are one and the same. So with that, it's 50-50. But for the Tempestus Scions, if you're really good at fucking killing, you become a Scion, simple as. From there, once you graduated the Schola, you then inducted into the Militarum Tempestus. Now, it depends. In some cases, the training will begin while they're still in the Schola. Some cases, it'll be while they're out of the Schola. Depends on for whatever reason it need be. But regardless, Stormtrooper training is a solid 3 years, my guy. 3 years. That is long as hell. For those of you wondering, our modern day military, most boot camps only like a couple of weeks. And even then, if you factor in going to all the special operations schools and all the different training schools and whatnot, you're looking at a couple of months to probably a year max, maybe even a little bit over a year. So even at our best estimate, basic Tempestus Scion training is equivalent to at least twice the length, or maybe even 2.5 times of our standard military training. And that's for our elite bastards too. So needless to say, the training is efficient. It's hella efficient. Also, kinda deadly. Well, not really the actual training itself. The actual training of a Militarum Tempestus isn't actually that deadly. Remember, the people going into this have either been, one, grizzled veterans who have fought for countless years, or kids who have literally been grown up as child soldiers. The thing is though, a lot of kids die in the Schola, and a whole hell of a lot of God die before getting to become veterans. But this is deemed as acceptable by the Schola as weeding out the wheat from the chaff, etc., so on and so forth. Again, morality is not really a thing in 40k, the only thing they need is numbers. And goddammit, do the Tempestus Scions do numbers. During this training, the Tempestus Scions will be trained in every and all aspects of combat. Anything from hard-hitting shock troop assaults, mechanized warfare, aircraft, orbital insertion, co-op stealth missions, espionage, commando raids, behind enemy lines operations, seer training, anything you can imagine if it involves any type of warfare whatsoever, be it asymmetrical warfare or symmetrical warfare as the tip of the spear. These guys are trained from A to Z and they are trained to proficiency. Not to mention there are some hell of a good shots. And that isn't even talking about the specialist training that each unique guard regiments go into. You see, generally speaking, if you come from the Schola Progenium, you are more than likely going to end up as part of the Tempestus Scion regiments, which are scattered across the different frontiers of the Imperium. Whereas, to become the specific elite shock troopers of a regiment of renown, you're probably going to be a guard raised up from the ranks, either a veteran who has proved himself or a specialist applicant that was raised in there from the get-go, aka a mini version of the Schola Progenium, with the amount of lethality depending on where you're from. Cadia, not that much. Krieg, a lot. But at the end of those 3 years, the Stormtroopers will graduate and they will become inducted into what is known as the Stormtrooper Regiment. Each Stormtrooper Regiment is approximately 10,000 Tempestus Scions. Though, if you deploy a Tempestus Scion regiment, shit is fucked, my guy. I need you to understand. We're talking 4th Tyrannic War, Necron Dynasty Awakening, Chaos Incursion type bullshit. Usually, they're deployed via company, or in some cases battalion strength, all across the Imperium. A good way to count is that for every regiment or 2 regiments of Guard, there's about a company of Tempestus Scions. Speaking of the normal Guard, how do the normal Guard view the Tempestus Scions? Well, it depends. The standard Guard shock trooper, i.e. the generalist regiments, they are not really looked at fondly upon. They are often known by the standard Guard as glory boys or big toy soldiers, as they are said to be aloof and they are often admonished for their specific shiny gear and specialist equipment and by their, generally speaking, arrogant nature. Though more often than not, this is just big penis envy. Better Guard, better gear, better weapons, get shit done. They get all the bitches and got the big dick and then you're just there like, fuck me and my flashlight. But one thing that every Guard understands is that when shit gets sideways, these boys actually do put in their work. As whereas individual Guard regiments are a coin flip depending on how they'll react, due to the nature of the Schola Progenium as well as the Tempestus Scion template, each and every Tempestus Scion is pretty much one and the same. Obviously, there are different variations depending on the specific regiments, but generally speaking, if you have a Stormtrooper of any variety, they're going to be the same, they're going to be effective, and goddamn it, they're going to get their job done. You do not graduate the Schola Progenium or reach the status of veterancy amongst the elite regiments by being okay at your job. You gotta walk the walk and talk the talk, and these Stormtroopers do both. Speaking of walking the walk, let's talk about what these boys are there and equipped with. So your standard Stormtrooper is equipped with carapace armor. Not only any carapace armor, this is some good quality carapace armor, mind you. Heavy duty reinforced and able to take all manner of deadly fire, and in some cases even to tank a bolt round. Maybe. Well, I say tank a bolt round, there is a chance that you may be alive compared to flak armor, in which case you're pretty much dead. I mean, well, you'll be alive, but like, you know, it's not instant death. Let me put it at that. But whereas they're not the tankiest things in the world, where they shine is their DPS. You see, Tempestus Scions are equipped with the Hellgun technology. The Hellgun is a heavy-duty las rifle which is powered via a charged backpack and is able to deliver searing penetration power that's capable of piercing Adeptus Astartes' power armor. It's said to be on the same level that the OG Solar Auxilia used with their blast chargers and their las rifles. TLDR, it's some pretty fucking potent weaponry. I should know, my Dark Heresy character got shot in the head by one of them and survived with one wound, and he had light power armor. He's now missing an eye, but I have a cool scar. Also, I get to wear one of those cool half face masks. It's pretty sick. In addition to this, they are armed with a variety of melee weapons, one being the Mono Knife, an incredibly deadly armor-piercing dagger, which is capable of bypassing most armor due to its being sharpened to a monomolecular edge. In addition, these power weapons are very common for their sergeants, known as Tempestors, as well as their lieutenants, known as Tempestor Primes. The standard Tempestus Scion does know how to handle his way around a chainsword, but then again, more than not, they prefer that combat knife. But it's not uncommon for some regiments, such as the Cadians, to equip their guard units with power weapons and chainswords, being both a hybrid melee as well as ranged combat threat. But we'll touch up more about them later. Another unique piece of tech is their Omni-Shield helmet system. That system is not only fully good at protecting them, and in some cases it can be fully VAT sealed to prevent from all sorts of chemical radiation as well as chemical warfare. Its targeting system allows the Tempestus Scion to utilize their Hellgun to the fullest point, able to calculate ranges, distance, time, weak points, etc., meaning that not only are they high-powered shots, they're placed really well, as well as the various other gubbins and gibbons that are accustomed to Stormtroopers. So that's the basic bits about the Stormtrooper, but now let's talk about their unique variants. So generally speaking, each elite regiment will have its own unique variant of the Stormtrooper. Of course, given GW's procliviture for removing all the unique regiments, we don't really know that many, but we still have an idea of a couple. First one that I talked about already, that being the Cadian Kazakin. The Cadian Kazakin are uniquely formed from the venerable veterans from the Cadian Kazakhs, that being the fortress citadels constructed not just on Cadia, but anywhere where the Cadians lay their head to rest. These are armed similarly to their Stormtrooper counterparts, being armed with Hellshot lasguns as well as Hell pistols, but as I mentioned earlier, they are often equipped with their baseline as a chainsword and in some cases power weapons. They are meant to act as a dual-edged threat, being excellent melee combatants as well as ranged units. It's also noted Cadian carapace armor seems to be significantly more durable than standard armor, being mastercrafted in its appearance. In addition to this, the standard Cadian Kazakin is fucking massive, with height and weight requirements being implemented compared to other shock trooper regiments. Well, they need to be well over 6 foot, with the average height being about 6'6", and they need to be incredibly durable, partly due to them wearing their heavy armor, as well as then their panache for melee combat. We then have the Grenadiers of the Death Corps of Krieg. As their name implies, Grenadiers love grenades. They are given significantly more grenades than the standard Krieg Guardsmen, approximately about 5 times as many, and they are used primarily in mechanized spearhead breakthrough assaults, i.e. the mainline forces will open a hole, and will be the Grenadiers' idea to break through and breach it. Moreover, they're often used in close quarters combat assaults, such as tunnel fighting as well as clearing fortresses. Much like the Cadian counterparts, they are often known for their love of melee combat as well, again using various power moles, trench clubs, as well as chainswords, in combination with various special weapons, the Flamer being most common. It is also noted that they have one of the highest death rates amongst the Death Corps of Krieg, with 8 out of 10 of them reaching death. But then again, for a Krieger, they don't mind, especially if they get to take a few heretics along with them. The next one we're going to talk about is the Stormtroopers in of themselves. Again, these are the general purpose Stormtroopers that have been inducted from the School of Progenium and are inducted into the Stormtrooper regiments of the Tempestus Militarum. They're then sent all over wherever that the Imperium needs them, and as I said earlier, you can expect about 1 company for every 1 to 2 regiments of guard. But what you don't know is that they are subdivided into 2 different categories. The Line Stormtroopers, which generally speaking operate on the ground by the use of mechanized assaults via Taurox Primes, the Taurox being the final evolution of the MRAP, and then we have the Tempestus Aquilons. Now these are stormtroopers which are specifically dedicated to airborne assaults, usually from Valkyries, or in some cases from low orbit itself. They're deployed via grav shoots, and then from there they continue their missions, either one high-profile assassinations or guerrilla tactics to recover a specific type of entity, whether it be a specific personnel or a specific artifact that has been deemed valuable by the Imperium. Essentially, they operate with a bit of a lighter hand and a more deft touch than the Stormtrooper counterparts, but they're still armed to the teeth with carapace armor as well as Hellshot lasguns. We then have the Catachan Devils. The Catachan Devils are a little bit different than standard Stormtroopers, as they eschew their heavy armor as well, generally speaking, the Hellguns. What they are known for are their famous kill knives. These knives are basically bloody wild. They are crafted with specialized alloys as well as specialized mechanicum techniques that have been lost to the wider Imperium and that are specific only to Catachan, giving them an armor penetration power that is set to rival that of power weapons. Somehow. How does it work? I don't know, but these motherfuckers are basically Rambo in space. Like Sly Marbo. Literally, Rambo Warhammer 40k. This motherfucker can kill Space Marines. He has killed Space Marines. Catachan Devils kill Space Marines. Both the big bugs as well as the humans. How does it work? I don't know, but it does. It's Warhammer 40k. Don't think too much about it. Biceps go brr. We then have the Armageddon Steel Legion. Now the Armageddon Steel Legion, they're quite simply just known as Stormtroopers, but they have a high numbered proportion of them. Being the nature of Armageddon, and the fact that there's so many goddamn tanky motherfuckers, from armored orcs all the way up to demons, shh, don't tell the Inquisition, they make a great use of them, with them being used as a fast action response force. Essentially, if the main armored spearhead meets a foe that is way too chunky and that was unexpected, a company of them will then roll up, dismount, and deliver so much firepower you'd be mistaken to think that it was a goddamn light show on the 4th of motherfucking July, let me tell you what. Again, they have a panache for plasma guns as well as grenade launchers as their special weapons. They then have the Harakoni Warhawks. The Harakoni Warhawks are unique in that they are a full heavy infantry regiment, meaning that all of their boys are armed with carapace armor, but their elites of the elites are armed with special weapons as well as hellshot lasguns. They are deployed to wherever the fighting is thickest and that they make use via heavy duty drop inserts. Essentially, they'll fly up to a location, drop down, hold the position, and then slowly devour from the inside out. Heavy duty assaults hit right at the foe and eat them from the inside out. My personal favorite of the two varieties of drop infantry that the Guard have. Damn shame their models got eaten. Damn shame. We then have the Terex Guard, which are an old regiment, but fucking hell, that is wild. They are the definition of a heavy infantry regiment, as all of them are equipped with carapace armor, and instead of hotshot lasguns, they use melter guns. Yes, you heard me. The tens of thousands of guards are equipped with melter guns and carapace armor as their base unit, and they are said to be quote-unquote an entire regiment's worth of commissars, both in temperament as well as actions, and indeed with gear. They also have chainswords as their secondaries. These guys are fucking old, and way back when shit was still crazy. But they're still canon, so fuck you, I love it, and I'm gonna include it. And then finally, we have the Inquisitorial Stormtrooper. You see, Inquisitorial Stormtroopers, also known as Inquisitorial Henchman Troopers, are the muscle of an Inquisitor's retinue. An Inquisitor will have various different types of people in their retinue, but more often than not, it will be the heavy infantry of the Tempestus Scions, which they will call upon to do their muscling duties. And then that leads me on to my next point, the true strength and power of the Tempestus Scions. I've told you about the various different types of Stormtroopers, I told you how to become a Stormtrooper, what they use, and basically their history, etc, so on and so forth. But now, we're gonna get into the real juicy part of this video. Why are the Stormtroopers so underrated? And that's because people don't understand the sheer levels that they can reach. You see, people don't get that the standard Stormtrooper is not just an elite Guard regiment. They are the elite of the Guard regiments. You take a look at Batman. Why is Batman so good? People say he's just a normal human, but that's not the case. He's not just a normal human. He is the epitome of the perfect human. The reason why Batman can contend with all these superpowered megalomaniacs and criminals is because he is level 100 while they're level 10. Bro is just that skilled. He is Batman. That's why you hear a lot of Batman stands, their comments saying like, oh, how would Batman do this? Would Batman win? Yeah. Okay, why would he win? Because he's Batman. He's just that good. Skill triumphs everything. Raw power, weaponry, stats, technology, anything. If you have someone who is skilled enough and the disparity between the strength as well as technology is not too crazy, and when I say too crazy, I mean literally 1,000 to 1, the guy with the skill will come up on top. Tempestus Scions are crafted to be the best that humanity has to offer outside of Space Marines. I was having a chat with good old Dutch 40k and another friend of mine, and we were talking about the Solar Auxilia and why I think it's dumb that we don't have at least some of them in 40k, mainly because I want my light power armor Roman themed Guard regiment. But while we agreed that the technology is still there, what was lost truly was the martial mentality during the heresy. What truly made the Solar Auxilia so deadly was not the fact that they had the best gear. That certainly helped, but rather it was their idea behind it. They had the mentality of warriors, duty unto death. Perfect example, during the Battle of Kelth, instead of falling back from the station which was boarded by the word bearers, what the Solar Auxilia did is that they unleashed a virus bomb to kill the word bearers and then bayonet charge them. They made the calculated decision knowing that they would die, but they would kill the word bearers before they died. That type of thinking, that type of duty and discipline and dedication only comes from generations of a martial culture. The Solar Auxilia were only able to be established due to the Saturnine Void Hoplites, and yes, it's fucking pronounced Hoplites. I know it's Hoplites. GW calls them Hoplites. Why does GW fucking do that? I don't fucking know, motherfucker. Ask them. But don't come here acting like I'm the motherfucker practicing it fucking wrong. I speak Latin, motherfucker. I know how fucking Greek sounds. Fuck you. I'm sorry. I got a lot of fucking comments on my video talking about that. Not me. Blame the fucking GW man. Where was I? Ah, yes. So what was lost during the heresy wasn't necessarily the means to make them. Rather, it was the spirit. I guess you could say that with anything really in regards to the heresy. The Imperium was fundamentally changed, all the way down to its very soul. So why do I bring up Batman, the Solar Auxilia, when talking about the Tempestus Scions? It's because the Tempestus Scions are the closest thing that 40k has to a universal martial culture in the Imperium. Individual regiments have martial cultures, but one thing that is lacking across the Imperium is standardization of that culture. The Tempestus Scions represent a martial culture literally trained from basic childhood, or taken from all across the Imperium after surviving the countless horrors of humanity. They are then put through further mental conditioning, spiritual fortitude, as well as further physical training to produce the best martial class that we as humanity have to offer. They're equipped with not only the best gear that we have, but the best of the best. And when I come into talking about Inquisitorial Stormtroopers, that's when the disparity really starts to get noticeable. The Inquisition has access to a bunch of bullshit. It has access to the best weapons that the Imperium has to offer outside of Space Marines. I mean, hell, they even have some Space Marine level gear. How many times have you saw an Inquisitor with IRL power armor, or the actual Terminator armor, having demonic weapons, Xenos weapons, power weapons, Dark Age of Technology weapons, fucking Men of Iron with some Rogue Trader bullshit? They have access to everything the Imperium has. And we see time and time again that Inquisitorial Stormtroopers, retinues of these Inquisitions, have access to technology that should technically no longer exist. We have records of Inquisitorial Stormtroopers being equipped in lighter versions of power armor, the solar pattern void armor, even in some cases Inquisitors having their retinues equipped with full-on power armor. Now, it's rare, yes, but it depends on the whim of the Inquisitor, and this is what we really need to drive home here. 40k has access to the technology of 30k in limited amounts. And who has access to that limited technology? The Inquisition. The Inquisition handpicks its best of its best Tempestus Scions to serve in its retinues. These Tempestus Scions already are the closest thing humanity has to a universal martial culture, meaning that the Tempestus Scions have access and have the potential to become the greatest non-augmented humans that we have ever had. And the big thing here is that even a Tempestus Scion Inquisitorial Stormtrooper in power armor with a Hellgun or the mini bolter, even that is still not as expensive, time consuming, and as valuable as one Space Marine, meaning that it is still a cheaper alternative to produce. Now, will we ever get these on a mass scale? Unless Bobby G pulls one hell of a rabbit out of its hat, probably not. But the fact of the matter is that these stormtroopers exist. It's a level of sheer discipline as well as effectiveness that most people in 40k think is impossible. Another example that perfectly covers this is what's known as a kill trooper squad. A kill trooper squad is not an official stormtrooper squad. However, they are the unique and elite formations of usually tyrannical planetary governors who rule with an iron fist. These are their secret police, armed again in heavy carapace or light power armor. Yeah, that's a thing. These tyrannic despots are able to equip hundreds, if not thousands, of men and women who have received just as much training as well as indoctrination and fortification as IRL stormtroopers, and they equip them with gear for the sole purpose to crack down on dissenting populace. And that is where we get to the grimdark aspect of stormtroopers. They are the best of the best, and the Imperium has the potential to reintroduce the template like they did with the Solar Auxilia. But what's keeping them from getting there, or the fact of the matter is that there are a fair few number of people who want to remain out of reach of centralization of the Imperium, and the fact that there is people who want to hold power solely for themselves, i.e. the Inquisition, who actively hides the equipment and gear from the rest of the Imperium while keeping it for themselves, for the sake of their own power. While some claim it's protected from the Imperium, at the end of the day, I find it highly suspicious that normal stormtrooper regiments never hear of light power armor. Yet, if an inquisitorial representative has access to it, their retinue also suddenly gains access to it. But even then, if you ignore the power armored equipped, heavy-duty melter-wielding inquisitorial stormtroopers, the stock standard stormtrooper is able to combat heretic Astartes, demonic forces, Tau warriors, greenskins, anything you name it. These bastards are such a cut above the rest and such a massive jump in power from regular guardsmen. And moreover, they are standardized, which is a big thing in the Imperium, which is not standardized in the slightest bit. Many foes of the Imperium have often met their ends at the hands of mortals who they are deemed not worth their time, dismissed as just regular old guardsmen. But these are no regular old guardsmen. These are the warriors of the storm. These are the Tempestus Scions, the elite vaunted guard of the Imperium of Man, and the heir to the martial legacy of humanity. They are many things, but an easy foe is not one of them. But yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, Tempestus Scions. I decided to give the guard a bit of love today. People often talk shit about the guard, but at the end of the day, depending on what regiment you get, it could be a really bad time. But again, that's a specialty about the Tempestus Scions. One Scion is pretty much the same across the board, unless you get some of the specialist regiments, mind you. But let me know down below, which was your favorite guard regiment? What do you guys think about the idea of having a Tempestus Scion and type of light power armor, in a case of trying to reintroduce the idea of the Solar Auxilia template, but in the form of a Tempestus Scion template? Or do you think that the Inquisition would never allow it? Do you think that it's better if they stay this way? Let me know what you guys think down below. Me personally, more heavy infantry. I like heavy infantry. I like power armor, I like big guns, and I like you for watching this video. God damn it, I thank you so very much, and a very big special thank you to Mr. Thomas Moslones. Thank you, sir, for your continued support throughout this channel. If you guys want to support this channel and help out your boy and make these videos come out a bit more regularly, then sign up with our memberships, gain access to a bunch of awesome benefits, including getting these videos a full day early, as well as my goddamn love and support. But remember, you don't gotta do it. This will always be free, and I will always love you just for watching this right here. Mwah! But ladies and gentlemen, that has been me. I've been the General Bradley 101. Apologies for the schedule being a little haphazard of lately. There's been a lot of stuff going on IRL. Also, I've been trying to kidnap a few fellow content creators and force them to make content with me because we're having a big 30k special coming up. Thank you guys for 30k, by the way. Holy shit, we hit 30k. What the fuck? That is wild. That is wild behavior. I have become the Horus Heresy Jim Warhammer. Watch out, Jimmy Space. I will become the 40,000th Warhammer fucking Stoon motherfucker. In all seriousness though, fucking thank you guys so much. I am blown away. I am genuinely fucking wild. It's a wild behavior. Thank you guys also very much for this. I fucking love y'all. Y'all are amazing. Fucking gah. But yeah, I have a very big video coming up. It's a History Hammer. It's gonna be probably my most in-depth one yet, which is fucking saying something. And we have the good old 30k special. Hint hint, it involves the unique units of 30k. But that's enough of that. Wait till that comes out probably next week, or whenever I manage to kidnap a few people. I'm having a hard time wrangling Dutch. I'm probably going to need some more bread. But anyways, I have been the General Bradley 101. You've been beautiful, awesome, and amazing people. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will catch y'all next time. Dismiss ring. I know I'm just gonna get one of those comments with some motherfucker being like, Brad, this is Warhammer 40k. It's supposed to be stagnant. It's not supposed to move forward. The Tempestus Scions is supposed to stay as they are. It's like, yes, I get it. I get it. This is a what if. A thought experiment. What if? You know what if? If, motherfucker, if. Fuck's sake. I'm sorry if I've been really aggressive lately. Just a lot of comments that really grind my gears. I love you guys. You're amazing. I fucking adore you. God bless your beautiful soul. You know, come here. Mwah.